Welcome back to Talking Story. My name is John Minton. Thank you so much for joining me. It's that weekly reader roundup time. We're wrapping up a week, going into the next week. I can't believe we are already halfway through September. I mean, this year, I don't know about you guys. This year has been light speed. I can't even wrap my mind around it. I can't believe we're halfway through September already. And last night, my wife threw me the most amazing birthday party, and I'm not entirely recovered. My voice is probably not back 100%, so I apologize. I am not at my best, but I hope all of you guys have as great a birthday as I've had so far this year. And there's more of it to come. She's planned so many amazing things for me, so it's not even over yet. So anyway, let's get right on to the books. What I wrapped up this week, I wrapped up the Wickwire Watch by Jacqueline Hagan, and this was a super great read. I really enjoyed this. It left me with so many amazing, wonderful questions that I have to have answered. So I'm going to have to get to book 2 quicker than I was even planning, maybe. And it was a big week for Jacqueline. I think she found out this week sometime that she was a semi-finalist for SPFBO, and I know she's very excited about that. And every time I've corresponded with her through email while I was reading it, she is just the most lovely, giving person. And it was just wonderful that her book was every bit as good as I was expecting it to be. There is a full review up on the channel. Please check it out. This is one of those self-published books that will give you faith about the whole movement. It's one of those that when you read it, it's like, wow, there is good, amazing stuff out there in the self-published world. I'm sure all the semifinalists will give you that feeling, and this is one of them. And it's such a great genre bending. It's a mystery. It's a fantasy. It's got some elements of horror in there. It's such an amazing Whitman sampler of a book with just every bit of candy that you love, and you just can't stop eating it. So I absolutely recommend you to check it out. As I had planned, on my birthday, I finished the book that you guys all voted for me for my birthday read, The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. This is book 1 in the Warlord Chronicles. I am a sucker for any Arthurian tale, and you guys knew exactly what you were doing when you voted for this for me. This was one of those special books that kind of, for me, the Arthurian tales, they operate on that collective subconscious of all of us, that it kind of speaks to us deep down and is spiritually about the best of who we want to aspire to be, the ideals of justice, and not might makes right, but might for right. And it was just so amazingly well done. I will have a full review of it. I absolutely loved it. It was a very special read for me. I'm glad I'm not going to do a review right away because I want to ruminate on it for a little bit. I don't know if it's a 5-star read. I think there was a little chunk where the pace slowed down for me. If I really analyze it, I think I could nitpick, and I'm not sure if I'm going to nitpick or if it was just the way Arthurian legends are for me, just such food for the soul that I don't even care. It's just one of those it's a 5-star for me just because of how it makes me feel and what it does. And I really want to spend some time thinking it over before I make that call. So I'm glad the review is going to get pushed down a little bit down the road for me. The reason it's getting pushed down the road for me, guys, I know I usually try and do a review every week for you. And this coming up week, my partner in crime, who does all the technical elements of the channel for me and for us, my son, is going to be traveling, so he had to work a little bit ahead. So I wasn't quite finished with the book, so there was no way that I could work ahead and have that review done. So the videos coming out for Tuesday and Thursday of next week are done. So I'm going to have to wait a little bit on that review. That's why we're kind of not going to have a review next week. But coming up on the channel, we have some amazing things next week that are already done. I started thinking I was started thinking about my spooky season reads for next month, and I started putting together my stack, and it just seemed absolutely perfect that Stephen King has a new book out, and I thought I can slot that right into October because Stephen King in October is a no-brainer. And I started thinking about all the years I've been reading Stephen King, and when I started reading Stephen King, and how long I've been following this artist. I don't think I've read every book by him. I mean, I know I have not read every book by him. I've got some blind spots through his overall bibliography, but I have read a ton of them over the years. So I started thinking about this, and I started walking down memory lane, and I started thinking, I should do my top 10 Stephen King reads. So I started working on that, and I got to tell you guys, I had to go to war with myself. There was hair pulling involved. I believe I got a yellow card at one point. I think someone had to come into the room and stop me from assaulting myself because it was so hard to cut it down to 10, and then it was so hard to arrange those 10, and I did it, I think, 3 times before I finally got it to where, and that's a complete lie. I was going to say I finally got it to where I was happy, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy with it. I bet you right after this video rolls, I'm going to see comments, and I hope I see comments. I hope you guys say where I was short-sighted, and maybe the short-sightedness is those holes I'd said that I had not read, or you're saying, how can this be so high, or how can this be so low, or how can that make the list, or how can this not make the list? I'm sure I'll get comments like that, and I can't wait for them because I love to talk back and forth with you guys with comments. But I'm sure I won't be happy with my list right after this video plays. I'm sure that I'll be like, you know what, that year, I should swap that around. But it was all out. There was bloodletting. It was an all out assault on myself to get this list done. And I think that's going to be going up Tuesday, and then going up Thursday. This is so exciting for me. We have our first author interview with Michael R. Miller, the author of, and it's right back here, the author of the Songs of Chaos series. I had read Ascendant. My full review is up. Please check it out. This is another one of those self-pub books. It's just like, it was just a great special read. And he was such a lovely, lovely gentleman to spend an hour with me, and a brave soul that agreed to be interviewed when he could look at no interviews I've ever done. He had no idea what kind of interview he was in for. So, I mean, you guys in the comments let me know how we did. But it was a great conversation, and it was really interesting to learn who he is as a person and kind of see some of the similarities between him and his main character in A Song of Chaos, book 1 being Ascendant. I just found it fascinating to talk to him, and I hope you guys enjoy the interview, and that is going to come up on Thursday. And then we'll wrap up the week again. We'll be back here on Sunday, and we can sit down and talk about our week together and talk about our reads. I hope you had as good a reading week as I did, and I had a great reading week again because of you guys, and you voted for this very, very special book for my birthday read, and I have to tell you, it was a true gift. Just real quickly, as far as other big things for the channel, wow, I owe you guys such a big, amazing thank you. Almost 4 months to the day. I think we started this channel on the 15th of June. It was almost 4 months exactly to the day that we hit 10,000 views. And that just, I was just gobsmacked. I could not believe, to me, and I know, like I say, my son does all the technical stuff. I'm kind of new to this whole world, and maybe that's not a lot, but that sounds like an ungodly number of people checking out the channel to me. I was just absolutely blown away and humbled that in 4 months' time we had 10,000 people cruise by and check out what it is we do here. I was absolutely just floored, and I want to give you my heartfelt thank you. If you've come by and checked us out, if this is your first time checking us out, if you continue to come by and check us out, it's just been so meaningful to me to have a group that I can talk about books back and forth, and to have a group that I can check in with, and have brought story back into my life, because I really had kind of fallen off that, and it was really sorely lacking in my life. So I just want to give a big thank you for everybody that's checked out the channel and allowed us to hit that high watermark. To me, it's just an astounding number. But like I say, I'm a newbie, so what do I know? But it sounds like an astounding number to me. What am I watching? I wrapped up the season of The Foundation on Apple Plus. I thought it was top notch, and this is not a faithful adaptation as far as like a blow by blow, beat by beat of Isaac Asimov's work. They really jumped off and took the spirit of it, but it's such a beautiful production. And it is very thought-provoking, as the original works are, and it's very well worth your time. And again, it's like, if you're looking for an incredibly faithful blow-by-blow adaptation, it's not that, but it's still very riveting and very enjoyable and very thought-provoking. All the great things that sci-fi can be. All the performances are very good. I'm still caught up with Ahsoka, and I got to give props where they're due. Some of the woodenness, some of the nature of the performances that were somewhat bothering me before, that was an absolute character choice, and it paid off down the road when there's a change in the character, and she can change her physical reality or how she uses her instrument after that character change. So it was something they were building to. It still does somewhat bother me, but I absolutely see what they were doing, and I respect that. I've seen a lot of Star Wars stuff. I haven't watched all the animated stuff. I think Ahsoka means so much more to so many people if they've watched all of Clone Wars and Rebels, which I have not. I think I've watched all of Clone Wars, but I've not watched any of Rebels. So there's a lot of this that is, just going over my head. But it's of all the Disney Plus stuff on Star Wars I've seen, it's up there. It's pretty good. It's not Andor, but it's a cut above a lot of the rest of it. And I am enjoying it, and it is getting more and more exciting as the season goes on. Haven't caught up even past episode 1 of The Changeling, so I will hopefully have more of that watched. But if you're a Star Trek fan, Lower Decks is back around, and that is the most fun Star Trek you're going to find out there. It is laugh out loud funny. It has every bit of heart and spirit that any of the series have ever had. And I mean, if you haven't checked it out because it's animation, or you just haven't got around to it, and you're any level of any kind of Trek fan, you should absolutely check it out. It's really well worth your time. That's pretty much it for me, guys. I think coming up next, and I don't have it here because I left it in the other room where I was reading it. I've started my next book, and it's a bit of a palate cleanser for me because I'm going into another big fantasy, and it was a little bit of a smaller volume, and I've started off Down Below Beyond by T.A. Bruno, and he was lovely enough to send me a copy for an honest review, and I will absolutely give him that. And it is just a wild, fun romp so far. I'm just into the beginning, and it just takes off like a rocket right out of the gate, guys. It's just unbridled adventure, and I can't wait to get back to it. And the cover is gorgeous. I wish I had it here to hold up, but I left it in there by my chair where I was reading before I came in and sat down. So sorry, but I will have it when I do the review, and you can get a good look at it. But again, Down Below Beyond by T.A. Bruno, if you want to look that up. That's what I'm working on next. And right after that, which I will get to probably in the next 2 to 3 days, because like I said, this is, a smaller volume. Right after that, I am going to move into the third and final book of First Law by Joe Abercrombie and wrap up that trilogy. And I am so excited because at the end of book 2, I've got to see where this guy, how he gets himself out of the pit of woe and despair he left us all in. So I can't wait to get to that. And that'll be coming up right after Down Below Beyond. That's it for me, guys. Leave your comments. What are you reading? What are you watching this week? I hope you've had as good a week as I had. It was a great week here. And thank you again so much for 10,000 views. Thank you again so much for leaving your likes and comments. I absolutely adore. It's all worth it to me when I get to talk back and forth with you guys. It is the most fun for me, and it's what makes me keep coming in here and sitting down and talking with you all. So hit me up in those comments. Hit me up, like and subscribe if you want to keep coming around. And let me know what you think of our first interview that's coming up this week. Thank you so much again. My name is John Minton. This has been Talking Story, and we will see you soon.